The Dragons Dogma 2 reviews are out now, and I want to do a bit of an overview of them because this is a game that I've been following for a very long time as a fan of the original Dragons Dogma. Now, there's quite a lot of reviews, and I would say across the board it's like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 from a lot of places, and IGN itself gave it an 8 out of 10. But I'm going to be getting into a few different ones here just to talk about some things that I think that are worth noticing. But obviously, the first thing being the performance, which has not looked fantastic, but I am just going to wait till release date to see it for myself. It seems like it's a CPU load thing, so in cities and NPCs are causing that bottleneck, but out in the town, outside of the towns, it looks like we can get high frame rates with even some people reporting up to 100 frames per second, which I'm a fan of. I'm just hoping for a somewhat stable experience with around 60 frames per second. But getting into some of the reviews here, so we got a 9.5 out of 10. Dragon's Dogma not only exceeds expectations with its captivating storyline, engaging players until the very end, and its deep gameplay mechanics and diverse choices makes every moment feel fresh. So I think that that's nice to hear, and eliminate any sense of repetitiveness, eye-catching artistic graphics. And it does look like the graphics are quite nice, especially if you're playing as more of like a mage sorcerer class. That has been absolutely stunning for me to watch. I think that looks really nice. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very high quality RPG, as they say. Improves upon the original in exceptional ways and a must-play RPG for fans of the genre. So if you played the original Dragon's Dogma, this looks like just more of the same thing, but better. Obviously, next generation. So I'm happy to see that there's some good reviews out here. And from the character creation on, Dragon's Dogma has to be approached with patience, understanding, and above all, ownership of choices. You get one save at a time. And that's one thing that I don't love about it. I'm someone that likes to try out many different builds and try all sorts of different things. The fact that they only have one save slot kind of irritates me in a sense, but it does seem like you can respec your character fairly easily and respec your pawns, so that's not too much of a worry for me, but I really do wish that they allowed you to make multiple characters, because having such a great character creator, you should have that, but it is what it is, I guess. Kitchen Sink sequel compared to the original sleeper hit from 2012, building on what worked in the first game to create an RPG experience unlike anything else. So yeah, I honestly think the original Dragon's Dogma wasn't that popular at release, but it became a cult classic over time because that game is truly unlike anything else out there. Looks like Dragon's Dogma 2 will be more of the same, which I'm just more than happy to see, so that's quite nice. Dragon's Dogma 2 stands on a giant open world genre, dares to defy existing conventions and expectations. The courageous effort is rewarding as it is deep. 80 hours in, I feel as though I barely scratched the surface of what there is to offer. That's nice to hear. I like to hear that. 80 hours in, and we're still not getting it. This kind of reminds me of Elden Ring, as there's, like, I'm hundreds and hundreds of hours into Elden Ring, and I'm still finding new things, so hope that I can get that same experience from Dragon's Dogma 2. That would really make me happy. And I have a feeling like this will be up there with the Elden Ring, Skyrim type games. We just gotta obviously wait and see when it relaunches. You'll be rewarded with one of the most engaging fantasy RPGs ever created. It's a masterpiece. So this review is pretty good from Dexerto. So that's quite nice. I like seeing these good reviews, but also want to read more of the critical ones as well, just to see what people aren't liking. Exhilarating, occasionally frustrating RPG full of dynamic player-driven moments. That's a good review, even if though they only gave it a 3.5 out of 5. And yeah, it seems like a lot of these games, like 4.5, 8.8 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, seems like a lot of people are liking it, which is good. I figured this would be around an 8 to a 9 out of 10 before the reviews started to drop, but reading them, it really does solidify my thoughts of it. If you've watched some gameplay footage, you'll kind of know what you're getting into with this. So Dragon's Dogma 2 is the most enjoyable RPG in recent years. Combat's amazing, variety and depth of vocations is impressive. The vocations themselves do look very nice, and that's one thing that I thought whenever I was watching gameplay footage of this game, is that a lot of the classes look very uniquely different from one another, and they all look fun to play, so I can't wait to get into that all. Story is shallow. Ooh. Side quests are somewhat underwhelming, and frame rate drop is frequent. And the frame rate drop, again, is the thing that I am worried most about. So I guess with time we shall see how that all works out. But yeah, it's definitely a concerning piece for a game that looks to be really great like this. The one thing that's nice about performance issues is they usually end up getting corrected over time. Look at Cyberpunk 2077. That was a mess at launch. And now people use it as the benchmark for what a NVIDIA graphics card can do. So I'm not saying that this is going to happen with Dragon's Dogma 2, but hey, in previous games, there has been issues with performance at launch, and it did get better with time. So it's good to see that. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a must-play for fans of classic RPGs. And that's exactly what this game looks like, is a classic RPG. Capcom has solidified its reputation as one of the industry's premier developers. And they have been on a streak of making amazing games. If you've played Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Rise, you'll see that they're extremely polished experiences that are a lot of fun with lots of depth to them. And it seems like Dragon's Dogma 2 is that as well. I recently replayed the Resident Evil remakes. Fantastic remakes, I must say. The graphics are nice on them. They played really well, and I've gotten consistent frame rates on all the games that I've played from them. So I think that Capcom is a really great developer. So I guess we'll see how this comes at launch time. If action role-playing games are something you're into, Dragon's Dogma 2 is your next big game. I love action RPGs, so that's hype to hear. It's that simple. You may have been thrown off by the talk of the lack of fast travel, which is fine. There is somewhat of fast travel. You can use carts to move around from town to town. Hideki Itsuno is right. The game doesn't need it. Dragon's Dogma 2 is covered with world experiences to have. And that's kind of nice. One thing I was actually reading on Reddit about some that didn't even use fast travel at all in Skyrim. They walked everywhere. And they had an amazing time because there's so many things that happen out in the world. And it seems like Dragon's Dogma 2 has more of the same of that. So really great to hear that. It could be a hidden cave, simple treasure chest, or even a giant griffin that wants to create chaos for you and your party. I'm excited to see the big, large monsters that we get to fight and just the different strategies to use to take them down. It's going to be interesting. It's not about the destination, but rather the journey. As silly as it sounds, Dragon's Dogma 2 is all about the friends we made along the way. Gaming Nexus, that was a great review. And I think, yeah, that makes a good point. The game is about the journey. Like, I think back to my first ever time playing Elden Ring, and just the awe that I was in every single time that I went somewhere and seen something new. It helped that game was absolutely beautiful with a great art direction, but I think that we'll get some of the same from Dragon's Dogma 2. So I'm really excited for that. We'll just go through a few more here. Dragon's Dogma 2 is exactly what veterans are expecting, a double edge as that may be. There's simply no other action RPG like it. And Dragon's Dogma 1 was a very unique game. There's not much out there like Dragon's Dogma. I can't even think of a game that compares to it. Maybe like Monster Hunter, but that's also by Capcom, so kind of a weird comparison. But that just goes to show, the first was a great game, and if we're getting more of the same with this, if you love Dragon's Dogma, you'll love this, it seems like. So I already have this pre-ordered. I can't wait to play it. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic game. Performance issues aside, we shall see, and hopefully with time there'll be patches to correct any issues and have a more stable frame rate, but let me know in the comments what you think Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be like, or if you're watching this after release, let me know what you think of Dragon's Dogma 2. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.